This is fun! Hey everybody, it's JB here, welcoming you to the final video of the Let's Play Chips Challenge series. And in this video, we're going to be tackling the final two levels of the set. This one and the next one. Okay, I guess that was kind of obvious, but let's get started. So, this level involves just pushing a bunch of blocks around to destroy bombs. And it's not really that hard, it's just really long and tedious. And yes, this is the level I was talking about in On the Rocks, where you only have one clone machine, or you have only one clone machine, and you're trying to destroy bunches and bunches of bombs. So yeah, this does take quite a long time. So I'm not going to be telling any stories here. Instead, I wanted to take this opportunity, since this is the last video, to talk about what I thought of this game. Because I thought that would be only fair, since I've LP'd the whole thing at this point. So what did I think of Chips Challenge? Well, I thought it was quite good, actually. If I had to rate it out of 10, I'd probably give it an 8. I thought it was a good level set overall. Decent challenges, good development of the concepts it taught. My only reservation about it is that there were some levels that were somewhat annoying, like the long ones such as Ryder's Block. Levels like Blob Dance, I mean, I'm kind of torn about random levels just because as an optimizer, it's really hard to get the highest time on those levels, whereas if you're not optimizing those levels, like I said all the way back in BlobNet, they can be actually quite fun. So it's just kind of a love-hate relationship for me, because there are times when I do like to optimize levels, and there are times when I just like to play them through casually like I am right now. Although, I mean, I guess this is kind of in between, since I kind of know some of the optimal routes, and I've kind of applied some of those strategies in this LP. But for the most part, I enjoyed the levels. I mean, there were some where there was a single concept that got stretched out pretty far. And this is kind of one of the things that I believe violates the rules of simplicity, is that if you have a concept that extends so long that it gets old after a long time, then you haven't really been using it very well. This is one thing I'm hoping CCLP3 will do well, because it has quite a few levels that are homogeneous, like these levels are, but they're not repetitive necessarily. Like, they don't necessarily cover the entire map and such. The levels that do cover the entire map most of the time are levels that have some sort of combination of concepts, or develop a concept in different ways. But some of my favorite levels in this set are those kinds of levels, the ones that have variety in them, such as All Full, or Mixed Nuts, or Fire Trap even. Levels like Fire Trap, for example, are a good example of how to develop a single concept in a variety of ways. For example, in that level, that had fire as a theme, and it was able to develop it in a fun way. And I'm just going to blow up these two bombs here, just so we'll have a clearer path. This level, this is the type of thing I'm really not too fond of, but, I mean, I guess if you're just talking for a while and want to do something while you're talking, I guess this is a fun thing to do. Sort of, I guess, but it's just not my thing, I guess. One thing I was kind of disappointed in was the Microsoft port of this game. It was rather sloppy, just because in Lynx, you can actually see animation more. I mean, Chip and the monsters actually move in 1/4 increments across the squares, which looks a lot more interesting than just moving from square to square like I'm doing right now in Microsoft. So that's one thing I really do enjoy about Lynx mode a lot more. What was I going to say? I forgot. Oh yeah, and the other thing was just the bugs in Microsoft. Just all the strange behaviors that we've seen with backward force forward boosting. And I guess that somewhat makes sense, but just because of all the busts in this set, it's been kind of an annoyance. Just because we haven't really been able to do the intended solution to some of these levels. I mean, I've tried to show off in some of these cases, like Trust Me, how the level was meant to be solved. But at a level like Problems, the challenge is just totally ruined. I guess Problems has its own set of problems in Microsoft. Like I've said in the past, this is one thing that we're hoping to correct with CCLP3, which is pretty much the reason why it's taken so long to develop and playtest, was because we've been looking for all of these problems. And this is only just an estimate, but with all the major and minor changes that we've had to make to levels, I'm guessing that there will probably be, out of the 149 levels in the sets, there will probably be about 80 or so that have been changed in some way, whether it's a major or minor change. Mainly just because of issues like this, issues where there's some bug that completely ruins the entire level, or just something really annoying. Like, we try to catch annoying things, not just bugs. But if there's just something like some really skill-based challenge at the end of a level, we've been trying to catch those things, like I talked about in City Block. So what were some of my favorite levels in Chip's Challenge? Maybe, I don't know if I did mention this before or not, but I really liked Spooks a lot. It's probably one of my favorite levels, mostly just because you can optimize it in a fun way. That has nothing to do with the original solution, but it is possible. And if you want, you can actually use the original solution if you want to be safe. But for all the daredevils out there, there's another way, and that's always fun to see. Cakewalk was another level I really liked a lot. It was fairly long, but I liked the fact that it was open, and for a block pushing level, it remained fairly interesting. And I guess I have mentioned some of my other favorite levels, the variety ones. So let's see, other than that, there's really not too much to talk about. So I'll tell you what. Right now, instead of talking about Chip's Challenge, no, I'm not going to tell you another story. I'm going to talk about what I plan to do here in the future. And I guess some of this is Chip's Challenge related, so I will be mentioning this game. But I am going to be starting a new LP after I finish this one. And in case anyone's wondering what it is, I will reveal it right here. It will be Riven, the second game in the Myst series. I've already begun recording some of the videos, and so far it's been good. There were a few technical issues with it at first, which is why I've been spacing out these last few videos so I can have time to correct them and record some more. Just so you guys can get those videos on a fairly consistent basis, unlike what I've been doing here. And I do apologize once again for the lack of videos lately. I know it's been kind of a video drought here in the last couple of weeks, but everything's just been going crazy with the new job and just trying to get all these Riven issues fixed. The other thing that I intend to do, besides Riven, is to play a custom level set. And for those of you who haven't been following his channel, Rockdet, or Rockgenero, I think that's how you pronounce his name, has been LPing CC1 this game and CCLP2, and he has created a level set that I've been taking a look at, and I offered to LP it for him, and I will be doing that here alongside Riven, so you'll be seeing two sets of videos uploaded concurrently. So I'm really looking forward to LPing Rock's set. I haven't really played it yet. I have kind of glanced at some of the levels in the editor, but I haven't actually tested them out, and I don't intend to have a map in front of me, so it will be kind of a semi-blind LP. So you guys will have that to look forward to as well. The last thing I wanted to mention before we tackle the next level is thank you for watching these videos. If you've made it this far and watched the 7+ hours of me playing Chip's Challenge and commenting, I really do appreciate that. I know these videos probably haven't been the most interesting out there, especially for LPs, but I've been learning about LPing, and you really have to have a lot of self-deprecating humor. That's one thing I've been learning, and I hope I've been kind of developing that. I've seen many different LPers, and they all have many different styles, and I've been trying to develop my own style, so to speak. But I hope you've enjoyed these videos, even if some of them have been kind of boring like this one. And I hope you'll enjoy my next few LPs. And yes, I will be LPing CCLP2 and CCLP3 at some point in the future. I'm not sure when, but I do intend to wait to LP CCLP3 until some people have solved it. So it probably won't be at least for another few months. Probably even more because of Riven and CCLP2, but I will be LPing CCLP3 in the future. Alright, we are done with Mind Block, and we can finally tackle the very last level, Special. And this level has a 999 time limit. I'm not sure why, but it is a fairly short level, actually. It doesn't take that long to solve. There is, however, an element of, as Doc would put it, treachery in this level. That is, all those blocks that you see there can either have fire under them or not. And once again, this is yet another one of those instances where in Lynx mode, this would have been much, much easier to play. But in Microsoft, it's really irritating just because you have to guess literally where the safe blocks are, and then you have to remember where they are. Now, thankfully, I do know where the exit is, so that much we're certain of. But I'm going to have to remember which of these blocks are okay, and I believe these two are good. They have to be because we have to use those two. And this is good? Yeah, that's good. And I think this is okay. Okay, good. Alright, I'm remembering. Is this good? Yes. Is this good? No! Alright, everybody. I'll be right back in just a minute. Alright, everybody, I found another safe block, and thankfully that one was safe because I didn't realize I was bridging to it right there. But here's where the exit is, right here. It's under a block, and yes, this is why this level is special, because the exit is hidden under a block. It's the only level in the original game in which this is the case. And now we get the, well, not the other ending. I was about to say the alternate ending, but it's not really alternate because it's the exact same thing we saw at the end of Fireflies. So yeah, we get to see Chip dance around again, and right here, you'll get to see my score for the game, which right now is 5,944,210 for the LP, and this isn't actually my LP score because I did some takes on, some alternate takes on some of these levels. So there were some takes in which I got slightly higher scores on some of the levels than others, but for the most part, this pretty much is fairly close to what the score was if you add all the times that you saw in these videos. I haven't actually done that, so if somebody wants to do that, feel free, but it's probably going to be somewhere around this number. Anyhow, this is the very end of the game right here, everybody. We get to see Chip holding up that giant computer ship again. Once again, I have no idea how he did that with the 652 he had to collect and hunt, but I'm sure somehow he mustered enough super strength for Melinda. So, one thing that I've been meaning to mention is that CCLP 3 will have a story, much like this game. And yes, I understand this game's story really wasn't much. It was just basically Chip going through a clubhouse to impress Melinda and join the club. But we're going to have something a little bit more interesting for CCLP 3. It's going to involve a few things going on, but it's not going to be too story heavy, but it's going to tie into some of the levels and some of the themes that you see throughout the set. So you'll have that to look forward to when CCLP 3 comes out. Anyway, I think it's time for me to officially end this LP right here, everybody. So until next time, this is JB signing out. Thanks for watching this LP, and I'll see you in the future. Good night, everybody. Well, it may not be night when you're watching this, so I'll just say goodbye. Thanks so much for watching, everybody.